What's going on? Sitting out here having me a nice little fire. Had some fun hanging out with my niece. We played some hide and seek and threw some stuff around and kicked around the yard. It was pretty fun. But about 12:30, 1 o'clock, the birds started barking, chirping. I'm like, what the heck? Why's the birds chirping, man? It's late at night. They shouldn't be chirping until about an hour before sunrise. Then about 20 minutes later, I'm like standing there doing a little, standing exercises, and a couple raindrops hit my head, and I goes, "Duh, man! Uh, birds normally chirp and give off a warning to the other birds about an hour before it rains." So I didn't. It took me a second to get it, but I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, my level of ability has increased. I've leveled up, and when you say you leveled up, it doesn't just mean my kung fu abilities have leveled up, though it does just mean my kung fu abilities. When you realize the fact that martial arts, the study of it and practice of it, doesn't just apply to martial arts, it actually floods over into every other aspect of your life. So the first level of the kung fu is just a martial artist. Number two is a healer. Third level is a scholar. Fourth level is priesthood. So I mean, though it's not, you're not a priest of kung fu, you'd be a priest of whatever discipline it is that you particularly follow, but you're just a practitioner of the martial arts. And scholarly things is knowing your own thing, knowing the others thing, and knowing all things in general. You know what I'm saying? And the healer is just helping people, like with the abilities that you learn from knowing the anatomy. It gives you an inside view of how to help people if you can. Some people know herbology, some people might know massage, some people might be like a chiropractor, some people could be an acupuncturist, another person could, be a doctor or surgeon. You know what I'm saying? It's there's many ways you could fulfill these roles. And just a martial artist, it's just a practitioner of the fighting arts. So I've leveled up, but like I said, it floods over into all things. Me knowing that the birds, why they're chirping late at night, though it was obvious, wasn't instantaneous. So just because I've leveled up, that doesn't mean I am a martial artist, expert master. It doesn't mean I'm a expert healer. It doesn't mean I'm a total scholar and I know everything. It doesn't mean that I'm better than anyone by being considering spiritual things. You know what I'm saying? It just leveling up just means I'm a better martial artist, a better healer, a better scholar, and a better spiritual person than I was previously. And it was because through just working towards it. It doesn't mean everything I've done was successful. It's failures that I've consistently had to keep persevering past is really what has given me the new strength. So I've encountered a lot of resistance, a lot of even my own self fighting against myself sometimes, but no, it's the people around. They're not very considerate. They're always discouraging. They always mock and ridicule you, act like you just threw your life away. But it's like they don't acknowledge, though, the skills and abilities that you acquire from working at it. Not everyone, I can do certain things that most people really can't. I mean, not to say that there's better than I in different fields and similar fields, and even other things that give other talents that I do not possess, which is fine. But it's a joy, though. You know what I'm saying? To every new little every little hurdle that you had, every little stumbling block, every little thing you have to, every obstacle. After a while, these obstacles ain't nothing, and the hurdles ain't nothing. It's just like walking because you're so used to doing it. It's just second nature. But I really have enjoyed this. It's made life. Uh, it makes you see everything from a different perspective, and then you see it from another perspective again. It's like that's it. So it doesn't take away from life or overly simplify it. It it broadens it. You know, it can broaden it and narrow it. It's weird how these things work like that, but that's what really leveling up is like it's a whole all encompassing of your entire perception, all your perception, everything, all your memories, all the things you know, and even there's hidden potentials inside of yourself as well. There's various ways you can get to them, but same thing. It's just like I heard this guy talking about how certain knowledges are in they're in danger of being lost because no one practices them anymore. And it's the same thing the way I feel about when it comes to biblical research, when it comes to knowing my own Native American history. I know no one reads these books and studies these things. You know what I'm saying? Anymore, and they are in danger too of being totally lost. I mean, it's kind of like when Hitler burnt the books. Some people have to. It's like the guys also in the caves that were hiding when the Bible was outlawed and Christianity was outlawed. These people were in caves, uh, writing stuff on uh, what is it called? Pirates. You know what I'm saying? They were sneaking around and trying to keep the knowledge living because there's been many times throughout history that when regime changes or emperors change, they try to outlaw the old knowledge and burn it so they can start history anew in their own image. So this is one of the things that keep your feet to the fire uh, out here because you also realize these same possibilities. So, but it's a good feeling though, and it's like I realize something. It's weird. I almost feel like there's a I know this is just one of my speculations, but it feels like there is like the conspiracy of authors to they're giving each other professional courtesy and they're not disclosing certain subjects, but when these subjects become too common knowledge, maybe it cuts into their profits of making books, so maybe they discourage people, rogue rogue people just dropping knowledge on people. I mean, I could be wrong on that. That just could be me overfishing, over speculating into things, over reading into them. You know what I'm saying? It can happen. That's what happens sometimes when you start to look at things and just try to figure out why. Just you might feel you're onto some accurate intelligence. You got some accurate intel, but then later it turns out to be a false a false alarm, false lead, and it happens. But you know, it, with all the false flaggery in the world and all the deception, you can't blame people for being suspicious when you start to see a pattern. You know nothing happens by coincidence, but not all things that always happen are a conspiracy. you know, but a lot of things that don't appear to be a conspiracy are. That's the way they work. If it's too obvious, it can't be what's up. But if it doesn't seem obvious, it's evidence it could be a conspiracy, but it doesn't necessarily make it that way. That's the same thing. All this knowledge as well of these obscure topics that everyone is too busy to understand. This is knowledge in danger of being lost forever. So I mean, it's like I feel we could very well end up in a Mad Max Book of Eli type situation. That movie with what's that dude's name? Denzel, where he's walking around, he's got the Bible in his bag. You know, that looks like that could be one of our real future possibilities as well, just like the Terminatrix. You know what I'm saying? Skynet. But yeah, all this stuff. Same thing, man. I think it's in. There's a book called. It's called the. It's called the Hagakur. And this dude was talking about how once he hit this certain age, man, it was like all of a sudden all these things that his whole life he couldn't figure out, or it used to trouble him because it just he couldn't see these things. And then all of a sudden one day he called it being unperplexed. When woo, hear that snap, crackle, pop, unperplexed. When just all these things, man, all of a sudden all started to click into place and they all made sense. It's like sometimes leveling up kind of feels like that sometimes. It's like you're closer to uh, having a confident understanding of a broad of everything. You know what I'm saying? The whole encompassing uh, uh, interconnectivity of life. You know, your existence, your own existence, and others, because you see you're connected with others. But to what extent uh, depends on the other people's awareness of it at the same time, and your own. So I mean, as the more you understand, the more you'll see how it works. But once you understand that it's there, you know, it gives you the ability to kind of to learn quicker. You take in more with less energy. It just you've seen it before. It's review. Uh, that's kind of how it works. You just gotta see. It's the thing of it is, I never was able to pull off any spectacular, crazy, cool spectacle of a maneuver. Uh, it was basically a lot of little things, doing a lot of little things over and over and a lot more, and then doing more little things, and then doing little things with the little twist, and doing a whole bunch of that. And then, hey, over time, it accumulates to the point where you're able to do uh, things you never even thought you could do. You never even knew you could do some of these things, and that's kind of the point that I'm at. It's like now I'm feeling like wow, it's almost limitless the amount of things that you can learn and master. You know, in this world. So I guess it'd just be a vain thing to try to master them all. So you kind of at one point got to be like, all right, these are the things I'm going to dedicate my energy to. And yeah, the martial arts is one of the places, you know, the kung fu, because martial arts only pertains to fighting, but kung fu actually pertains to all things. But martial arts, the training that you learn and the way you learn to learn floods over into every aspect of your life. And it also gets to the point where it actually spills into the others around you and they start to tap into the abilities as well, learning to learn just by association, just by being around you and observing you uh, from afar. It's just, it rubs off on people, I guess. But here's cautionary tale from my own experience. By kung fu skilled practice, it even you'll get better at the things you're trying to do, but it floods over. So if you got things that aren't good that you do, you'll even get better at doing them. And that's another thing that you have to struggle with. It. You kind of gotta confront yourself a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll catch yourself doing something, you be like, I can't do that. So and learn it. The quicker you get to learn how to unlearn certain things that isn't helping, that's hindering you, is another skill, and that's one I haven't mastered at all. You know what I'm saying? Some things I got so good at them, it's hard to separate it from myself now because it's you just become so good at just whatever it is that you're doing, and there's also a danger in there, and that's something where responsibility comes in. You know, and you also got to be aware. If you're aware of these things, you can take defensive action even against yourself. Like say you're forgetful, you can learn to write notes and it'll help combat your forgetfulness, for instance. Yeah, leveling up. the kung fu.